Coherent Breathing, Volume 2, Issue 8, February 2023. Hello all. Welcome to Coherent Breathing, Volume 2, Issue 8, February 1st, 2023. The Great Divide, Conscious versus Subconscious Breathing. I write this brief article to punctuate my recent Shift Network presentation titled Essential Hypertension, a 20-year quest to end the pandemic before the pandemic. There exists a great divide between the medical industrial complex, MIC, of Western medicine here in the U.S., and best I can tell around the globe. I base this assumption on the global statistics regarding essential hypertension. This pandemic is not limited to the U.S. and its medical paradigm. It seems to be pervasive in what I will refer to as, quote, modern medicine, end quote, where the modern medical paradigm is to treat symptoms with pharmaceuticals, specifically the symptoms of essential hypertension, that without etiology, which account for 95% of all cases of hypertension, with billions of people affected worldwide. This sector of the population represents a gold mine for the modern medical industrial complex, where the myriad symptoms offer endless opportunities for doctor's visits, prescriptions, follow-ups for elevated blood pressure, side effect management, etc. Hypertension ultimately resulting in, quote, heart disease, unquote, a bucket term that relates to all of the consequences of living with elevated blood pressure for decades. Atherosclerosis, aneurysm, stroke, kidney dysfunction, and eventual heart problems and hospitalizations. Myriad other symptoms accompany hypertension, including weakened immune system, anxiety, depression, and aging. This is because it is caused by suboptimal circulation, including that to the brain, thereby affecting the mind. The pandemic of essential hypertension is largely a consequence of an aging population, where the medical industrial complex has been planning on this eventuality for decades, armed with a plethora of new drugs to advertise to the public on television. A very strange phenomenon here in the U.S. that has been going on since the FDA rescinded the law banning direct advertising of pharmaceuticals to consumers in 1985. Now many millions of advertising dollars are poured into this annually, with pharmaceutical advertisements for every malady imaginable airing every 10 minutes on some channels. A great reason to not watch commercial TV. The case that I make is that we, the people, can eradicate essential hypertension simply by learning to inhale with depth. Of course, inhaling with depth results in exhaling with depth. Otherwise, we can't inhale with depth more than once. However, it is specifically suboptimal inhalation that is the root cause of elevated arterial pressure. This is simply because inhalation, downward diaphragm action, is the motive force that causes venous blood to return to the chest, thereby emptying the vena cava, such that capillary blood can once again fill it. This is going on continuously when the diaphragm is moving downward with significance. When we are walking correctly, the venous pump of the foot and lower leg also contribute to venous blood pressure that facilitates upward flow against gravity. For this to work, we must know how to walk correctly. Anyway, the venous foot pump is not at work when we are not walking, so it is a secondary matter as compared to the importance of using our diaphragms to inhale with depth. Inhaling with depth generates the negative pressure in the thoracic cavity, in which both heart and lungs reside, thereby instigating venous blood to flow upward against gravity, through the right heart and into the lungs where carbon dioxide is exchanged for oxygen. The medical industrial complex is preying on our ignorance of this fact. Their general position is that, quote, breathing should be subconscious, unquote. Alternatively, we say that, quote, breathing must be conscious, end quote. At least it must be trained consciously. Here, I dare to speak for the global, quote, breathing community, end quote, at large. Stephen Elliott, President, Coherence, LLC. Subscribe to Coherent Breathing. an occasional journal of complementary solutions for health, well-being, performance, and longevity. It's free. Coherence, the New Science of Breath. Copyright 2023, Coherence, LLC.